this week's edition of the Coaches Preview Show. I'm Jeremy Qualls. I'm joined by two fantastic guests, Brad Simmons, John Wild, head coach of Centennial Lady Cougars and head coach of the Franklin Lady Rebels. Pretty big game tonight in the WCS Sports Conference. Battle of Franklin. This goes back. You two guys are relatively new. Coach Wild, you're a rookie on the show. Coach Simmons is a first-year head coach, but he has been on this show. He is now a seasoned veteran. This is the third time this year he's been on the show. He knows what's going on, so we're going to put you through the ringer first.
That'd be great.
Battle of Franklin. You're both new head coaches here, but you do have history of this area and knowing what's going on. This game is huge for not only your girls' programs, but the entire school.
It is. It brings out a lot of community members to the ball games. I think both student bodies get excited about it. It's good for the media. I think it's good for the communities. I think it's good for our student bodies to have such a patented rivalry, and I think both our teams get excited about it. So should be a great atmosphere.
Coach Simmons, you've already hosted this event. You know the impact that it has in your culture.
Right, yeah. And we've had some great battles over the last 3 years that I've been around the area here, specifically with Franklin. And typically the games are fairly close. So, like Coach said, both teams seem to really get up for these games between the two of us. So, be fun.
Well, currently, right now, Centennial Lady Cougars are sitting at 6-14, 1-11 in district. Now, that is not any indication, you know and I know, any given night in this league, regardless of records, and specifically this game, regardless of records, anything can happen. First matchup between you two, Coach Wild, the Lady Rebels won 40-29. Let's talk a little bit about that game. It's been a while back. Malia Robertson, Chantel Fly always come to mind when you're talking about the Lady Cougars.
Sure.
So let's discuss about the Lady Cougars right now from your perspective of Franklin.
Well, I think when you deal with Fly and Robertson, you're dealing with two exceptional athletes that have a lot of experience. They can drive the ball. They both can shoot it very well. We're going to have to be very conscientious of where they are on the floor. And I think what makes them so good is they can drive it, they can get in the lane, and they can make perimeter shots. And when you've got a guard or two on your team that can do that, it poses some difficulty for you defensively. So we're definitely going to have to be conscious about those two kids.
What I think and what I see, and this is just an old basketball coach told something out there, I think that defensively they can really, really make some uncomfortable situations.
Sure, I agree with that. Yeah.
Athleticism, speed, they can really get in those passing
lanes.
They
do. They cover space, and they're light on their feet. They're long. They're two bigger guards, which you like to have. And they're going to play a variety of things defensively. They're going to do some stuff up the floor with some zone stuff. They'll do some zone stuff in the half court. We'll play some man. But like you said, they're great anticipators. They've got good instincts in the variety of defenses that they play. And there's going to have to be a lot of talk about ball security and meeting passes and pass fakes and playing tight with the ball, and just a lot of sureness on our part.
Coach Simmons, you look at the Franklin Lady Rebels, Holly Harris obviously comes to the forefront there.
Right.
Alabama Huntsville signee, playing really good basketball, double digits, 1,000-point scorer. We can go on and on about how good she is for Coach Wild and that team, as well as good point guard play. Jillian King, hard-nosed guard, plays good defense, stick her nose in there, not afraid of anybody. Abby Unger's playing really good, had double digits last night. Talk about the Lady Rebels.
Yeah, real similar in the fact that they've got two really good guards. Very fundamentally sound kids. I mean, they understand the game, they play the game well, and they both shoot the ball really well. And we're really going to have to, as far as Harris goes, she can shoot from anywhere on the court, pretty much, and so we've got to really be ready for all the screens that they set, a lot of things that they do from that standpoint. But really, overall, fundamentally sound team, players in general. So.
Interesting tidbit that comes to mind, stat, I could be inaccurate on this. I have to get Mr. Producer, please check this, but there's only been 2 female 40-point scorers this year in WCS Sports Conference, and guess what 2 teams they play for? Franklin and Centennial. Malia Robertson had a 40-point game early on this year. Holly Harris had a 41-point game against Nolensville this year. That's an interesting dynamic to this game.
Should be fun. Need some people in the gym to come out and watch these two teams play.
I don't think we have to sell it too much. I think they'll show up. I've done this backwards, Coach. I'm going to put you on the hot seat. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Let this general public that may not know, that small amount of people that don't know who you are, give us a little background where you've come from. You've won a few games in your career and several stops, so let them know.
I think this is my 28th year of coaching and teaching. 23rd in public ed in Tennessee. I had some stints in college, one at Evansville, one at Lipscomb, most recently at Lipscomb. Played at Lipscomb University for Don Meyer. That was a great experience. Gave me a lot of philosophy on how the game should be taught. And
he's a pretty good coach. He gets some
He wasn't bad,
right?
yeah. Not saying that I got on the floor a lot, but anyway.
Those coaches make the best, man, the ones that soak up all the info, right?
Yeah, I guess. But, he gave me a philosophy on the way that, I kind of wanted to run my program, that sort of thing. I owe a lot to him. And, like I said, I've been around a long time. Tell everybody I'm headed down the back nine. It's a lot closer to the end than it is the start. So, I've had a lot of fun doing it, and here at Franklin, it's been great. Enjoy working with Coach Joins, and day to day with his guys' program, and just appreciate the opportunity to be here. The administration having confidence in me to put me in this position and lead this program.
Well, you've had also state championships stops at Murfreesboro, Riverdale. Now, I'm going to go back for a minute. We're going to go back all the way to Moore County boys' days,
That's
right?
a long time
now,
ago.
remind me of the boy, the guy that you had that was Mr. Basketball, that was such a good player at that time.
Yeah, that was Heath Harden, and actually
That's
he's the boys' coach at Moore County now.
Really? I did not know that.
Showing my age.
So we go way back to Perry County team camp, summer camps back in early mid-1990s.
Right.
Interesting, but
my wife taught with you at Marshall County.
That's right, and she kept the books, and she could probably tell a lot of terrible tales of what not to do as a coach.
It's all good.
What not to do as a coach.
It's all good.
She's like, John, I was with this guy. He was a complete fool on the sidelines.
That's not true.
Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk more about y'all than me. Right now, you're 20-2, 10-2. You beat Brentwood 49-24 Monday night. That's a huge win for you guys and your program as far as district standings go. You beat Independence last night 49-30. Let's talk about district standings with both of you. Dickson County 11-2 right now. You guys are at 10-2. I believe if we look at that, you split with them and you have split with Brentwood. Is that correct?
Well, we've split with Brentwood. Dixon beat us, and we've yet to play them again.
Get them left. I apologize. Yeah. Brentwood's 10-3. Ravenwood's 9-4. Kind of silently creeping up the ladder there. You got to pay attention to them. Summit 6-5. Page 4-7. Indy right now 2-9. Centennial 1-11. Centennial, you have Spring Hill, Brentwood, Ravenwood left. I'm going to go ahead and give you the confidence vote right now, just like I did last time. You're going to beat Spring Hill. Brentwood and Ravenwood left. Now, you want to talk about making some movement up the standings with including tonight's game? Centennial can make some huge steps.
Right, yeah. I mean, we talk about, last show we talked about one game at a time, and that's really where we're at in the situation we're in this season. So we've got to focus on one game at a time, and if we play well, like we've talked about before, anybody has a chance to beat anybody in this district. So,
Coach Wild, I'm almost 100% certain that you're going to give the company answer that he just gave as coach. But you have Summit, Dickson County left, Spring Hill left, work to be done. You know that any given night. I'm going to go ahead and give you the nod as well, the Spring Hill game. But we're not going to overlook that. Summit obviously is a dangerous team. Avery Davidson, Colson twin.
Playing well right now.
Colson sisters. They beat Brentwood. Dickson County, we know where they are as well. So this thing is going to come down to the wire. 11 AAA, you got to love it. District tournament literally 2 weeks away. Everybody's looking at that positioning. A slip up at any moment could put somebody from first to third to fourth and be in that 4-5 game. Who wants to be in the 4-5 game, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of parity. I think everybody knows that. It's my 22nd year as a head coach, and I really believe this. This is the toughest league overall I've been associated with.
Really?
From top to
You
bottom.
think so? Huh?
I really believe that.
And you had some great teams at Riverdale, but you're talking from A to Z. Man.
A
You're
to
talking top
Z,
bottom.
there's so much balance, and you got to be ready every night. You got to bring your A game. You can't pick and choose when you want to play. You know, you got to treat every game the same. You can't prioritize games.
Right.
And you know, we've got some tough tasks ahead of us. We got these guys Friday who give you some problems athletically, experience of playing in big games. You know, I think Summit's playing well. We got them next week. Carrie's done a great job. She helped me at Riverdale. She knows what she's doing. You know, the Colson kids are tough in the interior.
Right.
They got some shooters that can kind of spread you out a little bit. Katie's doing a phenomenal job at Dixon County, taking over for Greg. Katie played for me at Lawrenceburg and was just a gritty, tough point guard. I knew she was going to be a great coach, and she's done a great job
I
with
think
that
we
bunch.
need to do, Mr. Producer needs to do a John Wall coaching tree. This is interesting how he's playing.
Yeah.
Chad Tips getting his
Yeah.
300th career win this week, by the way.
Greg.
Greg, pardon me, Chad
No,
was his
you're right.
brother, Lincoln County.
Yes,
So, I
correct.
mean, we can go down this all day, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess we could. And just again, you know, it shows my age and how long I've been around this
Do you
thing.
want to?
But,
Yeah. Do you want to?
But anyway, you know, tough league. You know, we got some tough tasks ahead of us. You know, we got, just like Coach said, it's got to be one at a time. And I know that's cliche, but really that's how you got to attack it.
And it is. And is it a testament to the quality of coaching we have? Are you kidding me? I mean, really, we look at the
think
boys'
there's
side. We
great
talk
coaches.
about that all the time on the boys' side. We talk about it on the girls' side. There is not a night off, and you better be studying film. You better be up on your game because everybody else is going to be.
That's right.
So let's do this real quick. Battle of Franklin. We've talked about the importance of. Let's talk about specifically tonight. What are some things you're wanting to do without giving too much of the game plan away? What are you wanting to do offensively?
Well, I think we got to take care of the ball. You know, we cannot, you know, let our turnovers transcend into some transition looks for them because they're going to present a variety of things at you defensively, zone, man, you know, trap here, soft zone here, extend here, back up here. And when you're dealing with Fly and Robertson, you know, that's a tough task. Those kids can anticipate. They're great athletes. You know, Coach does a good job putting them in spots to give them some success. So we're going to have some ball security. And being as athletic as they are, you know, we're going to have to eliminate second shots. You know, those two can get on the offensive boards. The Harden kid can get on the offensive boards. You know, you're going to have to eliminate their second chance points.
Well, I hate to ask the same question to you because I think you kind of answered it too because we talked about it a lot, Coach Simmons. What is
Right.
something offensively you'd like to see tonight? And I think those transition buckets always come to the forefront.
Right.
And how do you start those transition buckets? By
Yeah, I
playing
mean,
great.
Right, defense, exactly. Yeah, defense for us, our defense has to create some offense. That's just the team that we have. And then, you know, for us, we've got to be able to defend all of the sets that they like to run with the screening actions and stuff to get Holly shots and, you know, those sort of things. So that's all going to be very important. And what he said first, ball security, that's our biggest thing, you know. So we've got to take care of the ball. So to have a
You're
chance.
talking about screen action. That kind of brings up a question as being a former coach. Why is it so difficult at some point to teach kids to fight through screens and all the little small intricacies that go with that? At the collegiate level, how much time do we spend, individual workout-wise, on learning those things, jumping to the ball, going over the top, skinny and under, all those things? Why is it so difficult at the high school realm sometimes?
You know, I don't know. I think the first ingredient you got to have is some toughness.
That's
I think you got to have toughness, and you know, there's a lot in Jay Billis's book, Toughness, that talks about defending screens, and the number one ingredient you got to have is you got to be tough.
You got to want
to. You got to want to, and then you know, then comes the stuff jumping the ball, you know, skinnying up underneath or chasing something over the
Right.
top. But the first ingredient you got to have is you got to have that mentality that I'm going to do it.
Yep.
And, you know, that's tough to teach. It really is.
You gotta wanna do it.
It's tough
Yeah.
to instill.
Yeah. Well, man, guys, this has been a pleasure. Best of luck
Thank
to
you.
both of you.
Thank you.
You are officially
Thank
off the
you,
hot
buddy.
seat.
Appreciate it.
Third time in a row.
got it.
We come
You
back,
got
we're
it.
going to talk to the boys' side of tonight's Battle of Franklin. Stay with us. Hello and welcome back to the Coach's Preview Show. Big game tonight, Battle of Franklin at Franklin High School. Tip-off tonight at 6 o'clock. Girls action, boys to follow at 7:30. Coach joins. Talk about a little bit. We're going to talk real quick on something that's going to happen post-game. Help me out on this.
Right. The game party, right?
That's correct.
Buffalo Wings and Rings, one of our sponsors, and Dr. Qualls, I appreciate it. You've had my marketing students involved in the promotion of that particular event. We have coaches' interviews, right?
Coaches'
Maybe some
interviews.
player interviews, lots of free food,
Giveaways,
lots of appetizers,
giveaways, T-shirts, all kind of things. Come join us, you guys, as well as the girls' coaches. And it's Rivalry Friday. Battle of Franklin's happening. The Border Battle, Summit and Indy, as well as the Battle of the Woods, all happening this Friday night. Coach Freodden, word on the street is we're going to do a halftime deal while y'all are having your nice, peaceful conversations with your kids at halftime. We're going to have two, a male and a female from the Centennial section and two from the Rebellion come out and have a little competition for bragging rights. Word on the street is that Centennial has already got their players picked, and they're going to be pretty stout.
We talked about this morning, actually, Coach. So we're trying to scout out some good competition for you.
The PE kids are working hard right now.
So whatever's happening in PE can't even touch what's going to be on the floor tonight. We won't talk about a great game. This is going to be a fun one. Hey, Coach Jones, don't even have to tell you, you know how dangerous these folks are right here at Centennial. I think they are. I've said it all year long. I would not want to draw Centennial first round.
Right.
They've already been there last year. They upset somebody. They upset the apple cart, if you will, got themselves in, and legitimately so. And now we're talking about you're sitting at 500, 11-11, 6-6 in conference play. I understand you would love to be at the 20-win mark, but you know what? It's a process for you guys, and y'all have come a long ways, and you've got a great program right now, Coach Freodden.
Well, we stumbled here. We lost a number of games in a row that we were hoping not to stumble coming into a game like we're going to play tonight. But I love my kids, and they're going to play hard for us, and they're going to try to do what we ask them to do. We just still got to grow up, and hopefully playing in a game in an environment like we're going to play tonight, you'll see what your team is made of.
Well, let's talk about environments, because this was, man, you won't talk about one. This is one you know as well as everybody else. Y'all had a great environment at your place. If this is anything, is tonight's environment's like it was Monday night with the Brentwood game, which I think it will be. It is something. It's an emotional roller coaster. You've got to keep your kids, say, look, everybody stay calm, because this thing is going to get nuts.
Well, I'll just give you a quick story. Coach Joins called me and said, hey, I need your video because our crowd is standing up and we can't see half the court. And I said, well, how did you get to call me first? Because I can't see our video because on our end, our crowd is standing up. And so between the two of us, we probably got to piece together the game to see both ends of it. So,
Coach Joins, you're sitting at 20-3, man, 10-2, unbelievable run that you've had going right now. 14 games. Your last loss came in December. December 8th against Page. You beat Independence this week 72-70, as well as the big Brentwood game that you won 64-58 at your place. Just talk about how hard is it to keep focused, keep that to sustain success, to keep them focused and keep the drive going.
Well, I know this probably sounds cliche, but we really don't ever talk about it. And I don't really think about it until guys like you mention it. Which is not bad.
See, I knew it was going to be this way. Y'all are going to be the most cliche coaches' responses ever. All right, let me change it up. Is it fun to have the bullseye on your back?
I guess we have the Bulls.
Oh, you don't talk about that either,
well,
right? You're getting everybody's best game.
Well, I think for us, I think we kind of consider ourselves the hunter. I mean, we got beat in the first round of the district last year. Coach they were playing, we weren't. We were watching. So we don't have the mindset, I don't think, of the hunted. We try to be the hunter. And then if we are, people are looking at us and thinking it's a big game and thinking we've got a good team, that's okay too. I mean, you want to be that team too. So, but in terms of a hunter mentality is what we try to come out with. And the thing about our league and this game that we've got coming up, the fact that the game is Franklin Centennial, that kind of takes care of any sort of motivation on each side. I mean, it really does. So we'll be ready to play. They'll be ready to play. So these are easy to get ready for. It's not. They're probably not talking about they've won 14 in a row. It's Franklin, and we're the same thing with us playing Centennial.
You don't even have to mention it.
No.
That was a good answer. That was not a cliched answer. Coach Freodden, there you go. The stage is set. You got your guys. What are we talking about right now?
We're talking about getting better. You got to look at the pieces. You're not concentrating on the tournament. You're not concentrating on winning a game. You're concentrating on execution. And as soon as you start looking too far ahead, that's when you get caught looking the wrong way. And so our guys right now is, can we get our turnovers down? Can we make better decisions? Can we get better shots every time down the floor? Those are the kind of things that we're focusing on right now. Coach Joins does an unbelievable job at teaching the 1-3-1. This is something that we haven't seen a lot of. One of the reasons why he's really successful because they execute that at a high level.
And it's hard to duplicate that in practice.
It's hard. Well, you can't. And so, we'll add an extra guy out there and see if we can we'll do a 1-3-2. I don't know, have you ever done that one, big
It'd
boy?
be nice, Bill.
If you can beat 6, you can beat 5.
We'll do some things like that, but ultimately, if you look too far ahead, you're going to get caught, so you don't do it.
Well, you got you were talking about a couple games of losing a couple games in a row. You bounced back really good this week. Good win against Dixon, 77-56. First time you guys faced up, 72-67, man. This thing is always, it doesn't matter what your record is and what kind of talent either side has. Now, I do want to address one thing. I don't know if you want to call it the elephant room, the cliche. Reese Glover. This guy, if you hadn't had an opportunity to see him play, I know you go to sleep at night thinking about Reese Glover.
Too much.
This guy has played lights out for Coach Joins. I know he's fun to coach. He is. If there's a better player, better scorer in the mid-state, I want to see him. Because right now, this guy is playing as good as anybody. 39 points in 3 quarters the other night against Brentwood. Did not score a point in the first quarter. And I saw all 39 points, and it was something. So my question to you, what do we do, man? What are we going to do defensively? How do we even try to stop this?
Well, we're not going to do it. Dixon's coach told me they tried, which I don't know if you know this, but he said he was going to just say, let Reese get all he wants, and I'm going to guard everybody else. And he said, 44 points later, it wasn't a good idea.
That's a cliche thing, too. A lot of people say, we're going to let Reese have his, we're going to stop everybody else. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, we've got a number of guys that can defend okay. This is probably not my best defensive team.
Well, see, I disagree with you. I'm going to disagree with you. I think the game in particular, the Summit game, I thought your team played the best half-court man-to-man defensive team I've seen since I've been here.
Stole the ball for the first 5 possessions, if I remember correctly. It's your place.
Well, and that we go through route. We'll go through a period where we can do some things like that, but then you'll see us do some things that we don't get back in transition and we don't get over the. I mean, like any other coach, but overall, man on man, this isn't my best defensive team. And the reason I say that is because we struggle with some teams and some guys, and Reese one of them, that can put it on the floor and go by you, and it creates suction and make everybody else better.
And the last thing you want to do against a Franklin team is call suction because we kick it out. You've got Sigler sitting there. You've got Patton sitting there. You've got.
You have to score with them.
Just
say
a number for Franklin High School, and they're going to shoot it, right? So I mean, so you have to be aware of that. And obviously, the one-on-one defense with Reese to try to contain him from the driving perspective is difficult. Coach, you got your hands full with Trey Carlton as well. Let's look at the other side of the ball. Trey Carlton's a great point guard. Hainsworth in the post is a good player. They've got the pieces too.
Well, one of the things about their team that we talk about is, a lot of high school teams don't have a guard and post presence, and they do. They definitely do, with Hainsworth in there and obviously Carlton on the perimeter. They got some other guys out there too.
Hayden Pearson can shoot the ball well.
So to me, that makes it tough to play them because a lot of people, it's usually one or the other. I mean, it just usually is. So they can do both of those things. And another thing with their team, and certainly I know people probably play a little harder, maybe a game like Franklin Centennial. And I've said this to Coach, I'm not just saying this because he's sitting here. One of the things I've always said about his teams, they play noticeably hard. We were talking about Independence, and they're another team. When we watch them on film, they play noticeably hard, and that's his team. And I know they're going to play obviously hard Franklin Centennial, like I said, but it's every game. It's every game, so I think that makes it a challenge too. They came over for our Thanksgiving Classic, and it's so noticeable. It is, and that's a credit to Coach. It is.
Well, that's a testament to you because obviously in this process, that's something that's had to be, learned. It's not that you just walk out there and say, okay, guys, we're going to play hard. It's one of those things you got to keep.
I got a feeling if they don't, there may be some repercussions.
Well, but it's good to know that they're going to remain competitive regardless of the situation. And like this one, you don't have to get them up. But I know I missed some names. Help me out. Some names of the guys on your team's playing well right now.
Well, Dusty steps up. Dusty Williams last night steps up and scores 22 points for us, and that's big. Those 3 guys, Dusty, Trey, and and Ashari, they're all three of them averaging right at 13 a game, which is nice because you don't. It's kind of hard for somebody to say we're going to stop one guy, and so as much as you want to say even about Franklin, no, they got Patton, they got Sigler, they got other guys that can really play. But it's nice to have a guy that everybody's got to kind of stop first, and then other people eat as a result. For us, you don't get that. You're going to have three guys that's going to score bulk, and Hayden's going to kind of chip in and get his, and so we're pretty balanced.
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, that's what I was fixing. My next statement was talking about both your teams. If I had to sum them up, both, and they're both completely unselfish. Both teams. It doesn't matter who gets the points. You're all going to play hard, going to work hard. We've talked about this before. If Reese Glover knew that he was only going to score 3 points and y'all were going to get the win, he wouldn't even.
He'd take it.
Wouldn't not even second guess it, and be happy for the guy that scored 40 on the other side. You know, and you're right. I mean, it's just complete. It's a team effort on both sides. Obviously, Reese right now kind of garnering all the attention, but it's not an indication on him because he's not that kind of a guy. He wants to be a team guy, play first, and if things play his way. Same way with your guys. Right. Obviously, when you have three, I've been watching the score, the stats and score books, 3 to 4 guys in double digits. That's when you've had the most success.
Yeah, for us, no question. No, we don't have anybody that's going to jump up and score 44. I mean, we might take 3 or 4 games to get that. So, for us, everybody has to play well. I mean, and when we haven't had everybody step up and play well, we've struggled. We struggled leading up to our Dixon game because we had some guys not show up offensively.
All right, let's talk about real quick. We take games. We take every game by game. I get it. We're going to look at the future for a moment. Spring Hill, at Brentwood, Ravenwood. Two really tough games in that stretch you got coming up outside of tonight. Now, we're looking at the standings as well, and we'll discuss that. Franklin has Summit at home, Dixon County, and at Spring Hill. So if I had to pick who's got the tougher remaining record, obviously you're going to have a tougher stretch coming into the clubhouse, if you will. But let's look at overall standings right now. Brentwood, Franklin, both at 10-2. Ravenwood quietly. Now figure that. Coach Whitlock right now sitting at 10-3. Big win for him this week over Summit. They're at 10-3. Summit 6-6. Centennial 6-6. You split with Summit, but I believe you've got the tiebreaker. Am I wrong on that?
I think if we beat Brentwood or the top seed, I'm not sure
right.
who Ravenwood.
That's right. You'd have the.
Beat.
So right now, that game is brutal, 4-5 game. If we had to play tonight and y'all had to square off with Summit, that would be an entertaining game in itself. Dixon 5-8, Page 4-8, Indy 3-9, Spring Hill 1-9. Obviously, if we played today, Indy Spring Hill would play to get out to play that one spot. That could be y'all. 72-70. You played Independence this week. Think about that. That's right now. If it was played today, they're the 8th best team, and y'all won 72-70.
Right. You got to bring it every night. I mean, I know people talk about that, but I just. And it's interesting. Coach and I were talking before the show. I don't think it's so much about where you place is what the matchup's like.
Right.
You could theoretically finish lower, but your matchup could be better for your team. Yeah. It's strange how that happens. So, like Coach said, you look at what's ahead of you. If it's practice, you look what's ahead of you that day. Try to make it a great day. When it's a game, do that and just move on. We talk about a lot at Franklin, and the kids there have done a good job this year. We talk about the night of the game, celebrate and grieve accordingly. I'm all for that. But the next day, let's move on to something else.
Yeah. Well, our time is up. Obviously, we can sit here and talk all day. I've enjoyed this. Post-game party, Buffalo Wings and Rings tonight after the ball games at 9:30 to start with the girls. Tip-off tonight for the Battle of Franklin is at 6 o'clock for the girls. Boys to follow at 7:30 at Franklin High School. Best of luck. District tournament's my favorite time of the year. March Madness and district tournament same time, but it can't get any better, boys.
I agree.
Fun time.
Thanks for coming. We'll see you next time.
The most important lesson you can teach your kids about playing sports is concussion signs and symptoms. After a hit to the head, if they have any concussion signs like blurred vision or headache, they need to stay out of play until they're checked by a healthcare professional. Play safe when it comes to concussion. When in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. This is the other thing you can teach them. Comes in handy.